First of all, we want to position Fujitsu as an employer of choice. Being an employer of choice, we wanted to really attract people. You know, in the high-tech industry, it's difficult to attract talent, especially where people move around amongst competitors. And another one would be to provide quality talent pipeline to the business. And again, in a very highly competitive environment, we have to make sure that we have ready talent in the pipeline anytime, any day. It's like as if every talent is needed yesterday. So that's how it is in the industry. And again, source and attract the right talent with effective recruitment strategies, which is very cost-effective. And again, when we say cost-effective, that would be, you know, managing the ROI of it. And lastly, it would have to be a transparent and accessible systems in place. So that was the vision that we have set in terms of talent attraction. So the question would be, how did we move to the present? Why the shift to a legitimate RPO? I'd like to remember this phrase, recruitment was a pain point. Okay, recruitment was a pain point. You know, HR being at the headline every day. Poor performance because we did not place people correctly, wrong placement, etc., etc. We were always at the headline, but bad news. So HR was regarded as very ineffective just because we couldn't meet the requirements of the business. Really, it was a pain point. So again, there was a traditional recruitment process in place, very traditional to the point that, again, we relied mainly on the recruitment agencies. We relied on the headhunters, which is nothing wrong with it. I guess in practice, you would know that they are very helpful. But then again, we were dealing with around 28 different suppliers. Okay, we're just one organization dealing with 28 different suppliers. Hard to fill roles were being ignored. I mean, there's no monitoring in terms of, you know, when can we fill up, for example, a service delivery position? Cost of hiring was escalating. Imagine time to hire was very high, at a high of 225 days to an average of 90 to 120 days. If you are in a service company and you have billable positions, what will happen? You'd lose the job, right? And of course, the lack of constant and dedicated resource on the ground. Again, despite the cost, imagine you're spending $1 million and you don't have anyone on the ground running the recruitment practice. The lack of consistent and transparent selection process. You know, the managers were confused who to follow. Another person would tell them this is it, another person would tell them this. So it wasn't very transparent. So we came up with a huge number. It turned out the company is losing a lot and we are spending a lot. So you can imagine those numbers in terms of stats. And when the leaders saw those numbers, they said, so how can we implement the RPO? So we started engaging the leaders. So 12 months back, actually, we started engaging the leaders from the top, the regional leadership team, because the way we're structured, we have the regional team sitting in Singapore. And so we had to engage the regional leadership team. Business and HR adoption, it was easy because of the communication aspect. So we presented to them, we recognize, we acknowledge, yes, we are causing the pain in the organization. Yes, we are, you know, causing problems to the organization. So how can we help you? And so because of that, we were able to establish our credibility to them and rebuild their reputations really an HR business partner. And so the business and HR adoption come, you know, as a product and a natural outcome of it. The importance of SLAs and service level agreements. Any agreement that you get into should have a very clear SLA. The SLA wasn't just formulated by HR, it was formulated in partnership with the business leaders. So we also had to sit down with them, asking them, what do you expect to get out of this partnership? How many days do you need? You know, all the we know that's so high, you know, all the wishes we have to capture and again align with them. Okay, so that's part of engaging them. And of course, the time commitment. We had to agree on how much time do we need together with Simon and his team. We had to agree what would be the acceptable fill rate and how soon can we implement this in each location.
If you were thinking of going down this route, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of discovery. And by discovery, I basically mean implementation and understanding exactly what's going on the ground on a day-to-day basis. Recruitment is one of those areas where quite often there are a lot of things going on, a lot of things crawl out of the woodwork, be it contractors that were previously unaware of, or be it permanent roles that previously weren't tracked. It's really important that both sides invest in discovery to get a full picture of exactly what's happening out there, so there are no surprises further down the line. the team that was selected in partnership. So we knew we were picking people who were going to fit to the culture. A number of people were put forward, a number of people were selected, and that team kind of gels together as a team. Different range of skills, specific, obviously, technology, recruitment experience. It's really, really important that the business line, we'll come on to talk about some stats in terms of how the business reacted to this, because it's not just about does it work for HR. But part of it was communication. So Amor outlined a minute ago that the communication was actually fantastic. It was done by her team. It was actually very humorous, full of cartoons, and very regular and very well organised. We make sure that the solution overall is also tailored. So we would not go into any organisation and just say, well, this is what RPO looks like. You have to specifically tailor individual solutions for an individual client based on, so for example, how many people do they have, what sorts of hiring have they got. We need to model exactly how many hires per individual that might happen on a particular given point in time. How many key roles are there that need to be hired in advance and talent pooled in advance. So we will look at tailoring that, and certainly that's how we worked with Amor's team to understand their business in detail. Big organisations, leaders of organisations are generally speaking very data hungry. They want to be able to prove outcomes by real data that's happening on the ground. And so that's a key element, again, being able to track the whole process end to end. You've got real data that you can then provide and is then meaningful.
So coming from a high of 225, 90, 120, we're now down to 35. This is in fact, there was one placement that we did in 5 days. So again, with the help of the RPO, we were able to lower that significantly. So cost-wise, there's a lot of benefit in terms of the business, in terms of immediate support to the business. And of course, in terms of the hiring manager satisfaction, that's 97%. We're only aiming for 90%. As an HR, I would continue to encourage embrace outsourcing. There's nothing wrong with it. It would allow us to focus to become more HR strategic business partners rather than just driving a process. It helps a lot. It becomes value adding. Recruitment is a pain point. Yes, now I have to say with the RPO, recruitment has become a pleasure point to us. Okay, so that's RPO to us in Fujitsu. Thank you very much.